Reminder that what is on the line here are two junior versions of world titles, the WBO and IBF Inter-Continental Championships. Passport titles, really, that the fighters hope will be a gateway to bigger things. Here's Thaxton, very fit, very determined, does a lot of sparring with Prince Nassim Hamed in the Sheffield gym. Comes back to Norwich at weekends after his training. He's very much a Norwich boy and has just bought a house here. Thaxton in the gold-coloured trunks, the red of the normally resilient Rimvydas Bilius. But Thaxton is a puncher. He's watched Bilius a lot, I know. I spoke to him this week. He says he's hopeful that his punch power may force a stoppage here, but he knows it might be a long job.
There's certainly no thrills with Bilius. He just comes, you know, he's a good, honest, workman-like fighter who gets about his work. And Thaxton's going to have to keep busy because Bilius just keeps picking with punches.
Noise around here, these Norwich fans. They haven't had a lot of big-time boxing to get involved with, but now they have Herbie Hyde and Jon Thaxton, and they're enjoying the experience, and they're making plenty of noise here in support of their man, whose mother sells a lot of the tickets. Decent right hand from Thaxton over the top. Thaxton is particularly effective with the left hook. Watch for that shot.
Yes, he's a switch hitter. He's changing from southpaw to orthodox. Can swing them in with both hands, but does prefer the left hook. That's his best punch. Does get good leverage when he lets that shot go.
Southpaw at the moment, Thaxton. As Glenn was saying, he can switch around to suit. Bilius so far is just taking a look. He's caught with another right hand. Thaxton is doing the work that matters so far in a quietish opening session. There's another Thaxton right. He has improved so much. It looked as if he was headed to being just another ordinary fighter. There were 3 defeats early on in his career, but it all looks very different for him now, but he must keep winning. It's a good left hand from the Lithuanian, but Thaxton came back with an even better shot of his own.
This Thaxton will be wanting to show he's got the extra power that will tell in this fight.
Back to orthodox again now, Thaxton leading with the left hand. Good jab from him too. Better work from Thaxton in this opening round. He's been the busier, doubling up on the jab as well. No doubt that the homeboy won that opening round.
Yes, that was a good round. He settled in well. He started to just test out the power through a few good right hands. Bilius keeping his hands up nice and tight. He obviously knows about the power of Thaxton, but he had to take that one.
Second round, due to go 12 for these junior World Championship belts, which are on the line here. Thaxton in the gold trunks from Norwich, the red of the Lithuanian Rimvydas Bilius. Will Bilius try to step up the tempo and do more work in this second round? He was just having a look at Thaxton, you felt, in the opening session. Bilius looking well conditioned, and he's becoming quite well known to fight fans in this country.
Thaxton doing lots of right hand work, looping right hands over the top. And this has the effect of taking Bilius' eye to look and watch for the right hand, and then Thaxton brings in the left hook, as he just did there.
Switch hitting, I think, is confusing Bilius a little early on. He's doing it rather effectively, Thaxton. Orthodox at the moment.
Yes, he's doing it with a nice rhythm. He's not rushing it, or there's no jerky movements. Bilius is just having some difficulty in wondering what's going to come next.
Thaxton is a diligent student of the sport, and he's mature beyond his 23 years out of the ring. Sensible, dedicated approach. There we are. Look, he's switched to southpaw now.
In his training emphasizes to the boys he wants them to be able to punch from any angle in retreat or going forward, leading with the left or the right, and you see when you see Brendan fighters, they all try and do that.
Bilius just looking a little confused by it all at the moment. There's been some sharp work by Thaxton in the opening few minutes of this one. He's left himself a little open today. Has been on the floor a couple of times in his career as Thaxton, but only stopped once. That was by Colin Dunn. And on that occasion, he claims he was fairly weak at the weight.
He just seemed to wobble Bilius for a second there with the left hand. He just stumbled back, and he may have made the first breakthrough to the defenses of Bilius.
Impressive so far, this from Thaxton. Bilius looking troubled.
Bilius rubbing the right eye. I'm not sure if there's a cuff there, but he's certainly had some trouble.
We think the heel of Thaxton's glove might have caught him, and he has damage to the right eye. Dean Powell working the corner. You can't get that clear a view of it, but it's troubling him, Glenn.
Yes, I think that's a very bad injury. It's right in the corner, almost a welt and a swelling right in the corner of the eye, and that's very difficult for someone like Dean Powell to treat, because you can't get the swelling away from the eye.
2 Intercontinental titles on the line here. Thaxton in the gold trunks, looking good and dominating so far. The good thing about Thaxton is he seems to be improving with every fight, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's still young. He's only 23, and he's had quite a remarkable improvement. I think the confidence of his good wins over Paul Ryan have done him the power of good, and he's a fighter who wants to learn, wants to get better. He's very, very dedicated, and I think he's enjoying his bit of fame.
He's obviously picked up a little of the showmanship of his gym as well. Bilius is not known as a big hitter. He's only had 8 knockout victories in his whole career, which stretches to over 40 fights. But he was a good class amateur, and he's been a respectable pro.
Yes, he's known as a worker, really. He does a lot of work. He's got to try and do more than his opponent, and he's finding it difficult here because he doesn't know what Thaxton's going to do next. So he's concentrating almost purely on defense, and he's not getting through with his own punches.
Switch hitting again. Southpaw once again, Thaxton. I don't remember seeing Thaxton showing this much flair before.
No, everything he's doing is with a good degree of confidence. He looks good in everything he's doing. He's not making many mistakes.
Bilius has struggled so far, really, to land, well, hardly anything of significance. Sharp hand speed again from Thaxton with the left hook. Plain fact is, Des, that really, if he's going to go on to World Championship level, he's got to be dealing with the likes of Bilius, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. At this point, he's dealing with Bilius Very easy. That was just a slip. He just sidestepped him and pushed him forward there. But he is looking very confident. This is a good performance from Thaxton.
Absolutely dominant so far.
Continues as England look to bounce back from their defeat by South Africa. England against the New Zealand All Blacks, the second test, exclusively live from Twickenham next Saturday at 1 on Sky Sports 2. Here tonight live on 1, Jon Thaxton in action against Rimvydas Bilius, round 4.
Thank you, Paul. Fourth round, Bilius in the red trunks. The local hero, Jon Thaxton, in the gold. Thaxton will want an impressive and spectacular stoppage of this man that other British fighters have struggled with. Andy Holligan, the former British champion at this weight, did beat Bilius, but he couldn't stop him.
And that's how I have it. Thaxton winning everything. He's really impressive in his boxing. He's not rushing anything. He's just waiting for the right opportunity. He's waiting for Bilius to lead, and he's trying to draw the lead and then come back with crisp, hurtful counters.
Mixing boxing skills with some sharp punching, Thaxton. I know he thinks that Parisi, the WBO champion, may be fading and that his time is arriving. Well, could it happen for him? You never know. Stranger things have happened in this business. It's developing into quite a story, but he hasn't got this job done yet, not by a long way. Bilius just cannot find a way into this fight, though, can he?
He can't. He must be wondering what he has to do. He's starting to pick up the pace a little bit, Bilius, trying to get close to him, throw punches. But Thaxton's doing a good job defensively, and he's always looking to come back with a solid punch.
Incidentally, news on the Bilius cut. They did ask him in the corner between the rounds, could he see all right? He said yes. Lithuanian has to think of something strategically to unsettle the rhythm of the British fighter. Oh, look at that, winding it up Naz style, the right hand.
Two good punches. Nothing is being rushed from Thaxton. He's picking his own pace. He's boxing the fight he wants to fight, and he's going through a good repertoire here.
Well, he not only spars with Prince Naseem Hamed, he's obviously picked up a couple of his traits along the way.
Well, that's the mark of a good fighter, a fighter who's still trying to learn, still trying to pick things up. But Thaxton obviously is.
Bilius being made to look laboured. And I tell you what, the cut that Bilius has is looking a little worse in that corner. It's a problem for him, and Thaxton, as you can see, is unmarked. 90 landed to 33 so far, says the computer.
Yes, the eye is a problem for Bilius. It's more of a swelling, a sort of blood blister than an actual cut, the damage yet, but it's certainly it's obviously a danger to him. There's some good work from Thaxton, winding this right hand up, showing the confidence, then lands with, and then comes back with a short, sharp left hook. So I think he's starting to enjoy himself in there.
He's very, very confident. It's a big, big month this for the camp. Brendan Ingle there. They've got the Ryan Rhodes fight coming up and the Prince Naseem fight, and there's his mother, Jon Thaxton's mother, who sells the tickets for the Sports Village, so it's very much a family affair. Thaxton will want the stoppage, Glenn.
Yes, he will. He'll want an impressive display. The boxing is very good. He's just settling down behind the jab, just trying a few different things, but I think ultimately the stoppage will only be good enough.
On those watching at ringside, you might catch his face on the far side of the ring from time to time. The Norwich City football manager, Mike Walker, an away defeat for him today, but the fans here hoping for a home win in the boxing.
Thaxton still has the job of getting through with a good clean punch or a good combination, because he's difficult to get to. Bilius keeps those hands very high. He's wary of the dangers from the power of Thaxton. And Thaxton having to think, having to look for the right openings to get those punches in.
Back to southpaw again for Thaxton, who's won only 8 of his 15 victories have come inside schedule, but 5 of those have come in the last 6 fights. What does that tell us?
Well, that obviously tells us he's getting better with confidence, with experience. He's learning, and he's starting to find his balance and put his punching together now.
I'm just wondering here if he's watched videos of Bilius and picked up a bit of intelligence and thought to himself, I'm probably going to have to outbox this fellow. It may well be a 12-round job for me, and if I can produce the knockout or stoppage, so much the better. But he looks to have set his stall out to produce a neat boxing display.
Well, I think that would be sensible of him to do, to just think, be nice and loose, get my boxing going. If the knockout comes, that's a bonus. I think obviously he wants that. He wants to get the stoppage win, but he knows with this boxing it's not going to be that easy, and he may have to wait, and he may have to get it later in the fight.
Just conservative southpaw jabs really here from Thaxton in this round. It's gone a little quiet. Well, Thaxton's winning everything at the moment. Thaxton on the left, unmarked. Bilius with what we now discover is a blood blister by that right eye. The corner say they can't do anything with it. It's in a nasty place, and if it breaks open, the blood would run into the eye. So they're hoping that that does not happen. Here's the 6th round. Thaxton in the gold trunks. Was he just going off the boil a little in that last round?
Well, I think maybe he's in his mind just settling down, just not rushing things, just taking his time. He doesn't want to exert too much energy looking for the knockout. So I think, you know, maybe just settling down. But I'm sure there will be more points to come when he will try and get the big punches in.
Not been a lot of ambition from Bilius here. He's been a disappointment so far.
I think Thaxton has boxed so well. He's made it very difficult for Bilius. Bilius has just tried to get his punches off, and then Thaxton's changed to a different style, and he's come back with quicker punches. Bilius has really been on the defensive for the most part, not able to work Thaxton out.
Bilius keeping his gloves up very, very high. He will have heard of Thaxton's punch power. Bilius, by the way, is a security man in a pizza house back home. They must have some tough pizza houses in Lithuania, mustn't they? That they need security men. Remind me not to pop in when I'm over there.
A good solid jab from Thaxton, and Bilius went to him to retaliate, and Thaxton just ducked coolly out of the way.
Disguised the left hand well. Another trait of Brendan Inglekamp, their ability to produce punches from unexpected angles. It all started with Harold Graham a few years ago. Of course, he's still going. You'll see him next week. He's not in the Inglekamp anymore. That's another good punch, isn't it? The left hand from Thaxton. Bilius at last gets in with a right hand.
Thaxton controlling everything. He's controlling the whole pattern of the fight. When he wants to work, he does, and then if he wants to relax and just go on a little bit of a walkabout, he does that. You know, Bilius just doesn't seem able to handle any of his skills.
More than anything here, he's being outspeeded, isn't he?
Yes, there's no variety. There's nothing else coming from Bilius. He's trying with the straight punches. He's out of distance, and he doesn't appear to be able to do anything else to try and trouble Thaxton.
So you've heard from the former world cruiserweight champion, Glenn McCrory. Let's hear from the former world featherweight champion, Barry McGuigan.
Ian, I think it's all one-way traffic, as we can see, but really the problem with Bilius is he's fighting defensively. Even the fact that Thaxton is moving around the centre of the ring, he's still boxing defensively. He won't commit himself, so therefore, if Thaxton wants to finish this inside the distance, he really has got to step on the gas. He's got to get close to him, and he's got to try and work him over body and head to get those hands down. Bring the hands down with those heavy body shots, and then bring them uppercuts in. But the punch that looks most dangerous is that sweeping right hook, and sooner or later he's going to nail him, but he's got to get close to him.
Thank you, Barry. Look at that. 136 to 46. He's only 90 punches ahead. It's close.
Yes, not much.
Not very, no. Here's round 7. Well, maybe Bilius was thinking that he would come on strong in the second half of the fight, maybe. But he seems to have big strategic problems with Thaxton here.
And I'm giving everything so far to Thaxton. Bilius just can't get a foothold in the fight.
Seventh round with these 2 Intercontinental light welterweight championship belts on the line. By the way, the British championship at this weight is held by Mark Winters. The European championship by Soren Sondergaard. I don't think Thaxton has any plans to go for that one. He may bypass that and go straight for a world title attempt, and with Frank Warren promoting him, he's got the contacts to maybe make that happen.
But he has certainly stepped off the gas, Thaxton, and is relying on his boxing skills. He hasn't really started to dip the legs and look for the big punches. He seemed at one point in the third as if he was maybe going to start to wear Bilius down and start to get to him, and then all of a sudden he just switched off and decided it was going to be a good boxing display, and he's carried on with that, which surprises me a little. I think it's a time in the fight where he needs to pick it up. He wants to go for that impressive stoppage win, and to do that he's got to get close, and he's got to start letting the big hooks go.
Yes, I just wonder if it's as I was saying earlier on, he, in his head going into this, knew that Bilius was very durable and it would probably be a long job. He's certainly boxing that way, and he seems to be kind of saying to us as well here, you know, I'm not only a puncher, I can box too.
Landed a good left hook there, Thaxton. Didn't follow it up. He's got to be a little wary of just coasting in this fight, because as long as you're in there, there's always dangers from cuts or clash of heads. Anything can happen, and he can lose it. So he's still got to keep focused, and he's still got to try and do better.
I think he is coasting, to be honest. Has been for 2 or 3 rounds. can Bilius get closer to him and maybe ask him some questions? That may be the lift that Thaxton needs to go through the gears again. Well, he's winning the fight, but he's in danger, Thaxton, now of maybe not quite giving the fans what they really want here.
That's right. Now, I think he wants to be impressive. He's looking for a world title fight. He's looking very good and impressive, and I think people notice the big punch, and he's looking as if he's controlling this fight very easily, and I think there's always the danger in doing that. You know, that it just switches the fans off a little bit. He's exciting. He's got to carry on being exciting. See a left hook, but the hands are up very tightly. It's difficult for Thaxton to get through to Bilius. He's very experienced, got a good guard, getting his hands up whenever Thaxton's making the odd big lunge with the hooks.
8th round coming up. Thaxton of Norwich, boxing in Norwich, streets ahead. We think Bilius probably already needs a knockout to win, and we're only in the 8th round.
That's how I would certainly think so. There, I'm giving everything to Thaxton. He's just busier, cleaner punching. It looks as if he's controlling the fight as he wants.
We perhaps shouldn't be too critical of Jon Thaxton, though. Just looking through Bilius's record, he's only been stopped 3 times, and on each occasion on cuts. Recheck that again. 7 stoppages, 3 of them on cuts. So you can stop him, but Thaxton doesn't look as if he's going to do that at the moment, does he? Not unless he steps it up more.
Yes, I think he's got to go for it a lot harder than this. It's a good performance from Thaxton. I'm certainly not criticising. I think it's his best boxing display that we've seen. Very confident and a lot of good work. But I think there's a point in the fight where he's got to just test the chin of Bilius again. He did it early, and he looked as if he was starting to find chinks, and then he's just laying off and just went to boxing. I mean, this may be a plan from Brendan Niggle, and Brendan may have something that he wants to try and keep his fight rather. You don't know what's really going on in the corner.
They may also be working on things with a future fight in mind.
That's right. They may not see this as a danger at this point. They may just think we get the rounds under our belt. This is good work, and let's keep trying things.
Bilius just starting to get a little closer. He's had 1 or 2 successes with the jab, but he, in the main, has had a safety-first attitude, it has to be said. He's been in his shell most of the time. This man who's been to Latvia, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Russia, Romania, the Ukraine, Belarus, Britain, France, and Germany. More places than Marco Polo, you could say. But,
yeah, a few stamps on the old passport, hasn't he?
He probably needs 3.
He's pushing forward a bit more in this round. He's trying more with the jab.
If I didn't know better, I'd say there were occasions here where Thaxton almost looks as if he's going through a Nassim Hamed impersonation routine.
Yes, there's a lot of the flash moves, the good moves, but he's pulling them up well.
So there's the Bilius corner, and he can understand them there because he speaks 4 languages: Russian, Lithuanian, Polish, and English.
So the security guards in the local pizza hut have to be well qualified as well.
When you move upstream,
We must go there sometime.
you have to move upstream. I thought you was hiding. Okay.
Dean Powell is speaking in English. It's just as well he does understand English, because I don't think Dean's got too much Russian.
But I think Bilius is aware of what's going on. I don't think he needs Dean Powell to tell him he's probably a long way behind, and he needs a stoppage if he's going to pull this one back. Thaxton just showing some of the razzmatazz and moves he may have picked up off Nazim Hamed.
9th round. Everything to Thaxton so far, but I think it's time to ask the question, do we prefer Thaxton the stylist, or did we like him better as the ferocious puncher?
Well, I think to be successful, he needs both. He's got to be able to box and he has to be able to punch, and he's got to put them together. But styles make fights, and you can only do what your opponent allows you to do. And Bilius is keeping himself, for the most part, tucked up, nice and tight, very defense-orientated. And Thaxton just isn't getting the opportunities as yet, or he obviously feels he isn't getting the opportunities.
The blood blister that we've been talking about in the right eye of Rimvydas Bilius, that has not opened up. It's not been too much of a problem from him. Better right hand there from Thaxton. I wonder if we might just see him step this up. I'd like to see him up the tempo now.
Yes, good boxing display, doing everything right. But I think the crowd would like to see some of the fireworks and the hunger come from Thaxton.
Still learning as a fighter, still only 23, still evolving. I think it's a problem that they will have, Brendan Ingle, Frank Warren and the other decision makers involved, in when to pitch him in to a world title fight. Because they'll want to do that when they feel he has a strong chance of not only getting the title shot, but actually winning it. So far, I'd say the verdict here is that Thaxton has boxed stylishly at times. He's always been in control, but has gone off the boil, rather, and coasted since about the 3rd or 4th round.
Yes, I would agree with you there, Ian. I think he is tending to coast a little bit. We're not sure of the reasons for that. It's good boxing, certainly. I'm not criticising. It's just you wonder what the decision is for that.
Switching continually, almost at times within time spans of 10 seconds. Unfortunately for Thaxton, he's still in that phase of his career, really, where he wants to be making some headlines, making waves, and you only do that with spectacular performances, not with sort of routine 12-round points decisions. Not over the Rimvydas Biliuses of this world, anyway. The computer shows that Thaxton has thrown 533 punches, and an awful lot of those will have been jabs. 34% success rate, only 92 landed by a very negative and frankly very limited looking Bilius. It's you wonder how he beat Georgie Smith, don't you, really, looking at this?
Yes, you would do, but I think we've got to give credit to Thaxton. It's obviously down to his good boxing that he hasn't allowed Bilius into this fight, and Bilius has proven he's a good fighter by the Georgie Smith win. Surprised at the stats. Not a big percentage landing from Thaxton. He does fall short with some of his jabs, looking for other ones, but I would have thought he'd landed with more.
Certainly from the point of view of Thaxton of hitting and not being hit, it's been an enormous success, but from other points of view, maybe not. Well, you've given one round a draw, I see, Glenn.
Yes, I just thought that the round before last, Thaxton didn't do a great deal, probably his least impressive round, and maybe just being a little kind to Bilius, but give him a share.
I'll be honest with you, I've stopped scoring it because I was giving everything to Thaxton and thought he was so far clear that the points weren't going to matter much. Bilius, there's no doubt about it, he has to stop or knock out Thaxton to win this fight now. He can't do it on points, and that's been true for some time. Bilius has had some good wins, though. The one against Georgie Smith, the rising prospect we told you about a month ago. He had a Russian title win at super featherweight. He beat Anatoly Alexandrov, a future European champion and world title contender. And the win on cuts over Peter Richardson too.
Yes, he's very experienced, been with 1 world and 5 European champions, so he's always been around in very good company.
From Bilius, twice getting home with the jab. Maybe Thaxton just slowing a little late on in the fight. Thaxton, who started with the Norwich Lads amateur boxing club when he was 13. That's the same club that produced Herbie Hyde, the current WBO heavyweight champion, who, by the way, will be in action on January the 17th here, when it's planned to have Thaxton on the bill again.
Bilius just getting two good straight punches. Thaxton a little too in the later rounds, a little too many single shots. I think to get through to a fighter like Bilius, you need to put the big punches through, but you need to put them through in combinations.
There haven't been many of those, certainly not in the later rounds. Maybe Thaxton will lift it again. Certainly the crowd getting more animated. He disguised that left hook very well. Bilius just didn't know what was happening then.
But Bilius took it well, and there wasn't a follow-up. Sure, Thaxton needs to try and let the big punches go for 3 or 4. And I think, you know, the first 2 might miss, but certainly he'll get through with 1.
Well, he was a shade more positive in that round, Jon Thaxton. But he has not let this fellow Bilius into the fight at all.
No, he picked it up. He started to look for a few more solid punches. There was a good left hook. He just fell a little bit short, but then fell in. And that's where he's got to be looking for something behind that. Needs to finish off with some exciting combinations.
Jabs landed 111 by Thaxton. Maybe an unlucky number for the England cricket team, but obviously not for him.
Seconds out.
Cricket fans will know what I'm talking about anyway. Bilius has got a cut mouth now as well.
This is obvious. I didn't know what you were talking about.
I didn't think you would. It's round 11 anyway. Now, it's a good right hand that just seemed to move Bilius. But at times he looks as if he's made out of teak, this Lithuanian. Certainly not seen very much evidence of Thaxton's punch power making a dent in the East European. I think Bilius, in truth, is one of those have gloves, will travel kind of operators who looks after himself, and although he's going to be beaten here by the looks of things, he'll take a view of, well, I'm all right, I wasn't busted up, I wasn't hurt, and I can fight again next month.
Yes, I think good quality journeyman type of form, who every now and again pulls up a good win, you know, to keep himself in top level.
He's probably even now being lined up for some promotion in Azerbaijan. I reckon Thaxton made a decision here quite early on that he was going to box his way to victory.
Yes, you said that as early as the third or fourth round, and he has kept it. I thought he would have boxed in at home, he would have wanted to impress, would have wanted more to go for the stoppage win, but I think you were right that he made that decision very early because his style hasn't changed, and he's pretty much just kept to the boxing all the way through this.
Surprise left hook again, the angle of attack seeming to catch Bilius up despite his high-held gloves.
That was better. He got two solid punches on. Brendan Ingle calling him in, but he hasn't gone in. He's stood back off.
It would be stretching it really to think of a round that Bilius might have won. Glenn's given him a share of one. He gets home there with the right hand, but his successes have been spasmodic, to put it kindly. Having said that, the atmosphere created in Norwich has been good, the ticket sales have been good, and it would be some night if they could get him and Herbie Hyde in world title fights here on the same night. Maybe they could put that on a Carrow Road, the football ground. Mike Walker, the Norwich City manager, there he is. He gets a front row seat, seems to be enjoying himself, which he wasn't this afternoon at Bradford, where Norwich were beaten 2-1.
Well, Thaxton tried a bit more in the 11th round. There's a good straight left. He was being called in by Brendan Ingle. He didn't answer it as much as I thought he would, but he still managed to land the heavier punches and the better work.
And there are 3 minutes left in this one. Now there's Ernie Fossey on the left there. You can just see the back of his hair. And Brendan doing the talking. He does a remarkable job in that gym. He even has some of the fighters singing for self-confidence. Glenn and I saw that the other day.
You didn't. You resisted the invitation to get up with your own song, Ian.
That was good news for everybody else, I can tell you. Here's the last round then. And Thaxton, I'm sure, will be looking here to produce a strong finish. I wonder if we'll see Bilius just go for this a bit in the last round. He gets in with a decent right hand. Problem for Bilius is he is not a heavy hitter. One of many problems he's had tonight. Good left hook, Thaxton there. Sharp, fast. I'm not sure what to make of this performance by Thaxton. I'm at something of a loss to categorize it. Here we have a fighter who's given trouble to some other British boxers, who's coming off that win over Georgie Smith, who's quite respected, and he just hasn't had a look in against Thaxton, who seems to be doing this almost in second gear.
Yes, he's treated like a sparring session at times. He's been very relaxed, hands down. He's done everything right. He's boxed very well. His reflexes have all been good. You can't fault him on anything like that. But he just has never looked, certainly from the third round, as if he's wanted to finish this inside the distance, as if it's almost like he's went out to get the rounds under his belt.
Well, there's more from Bilius in this last round, but nowhere near enough. What about Bilius's performance? Is it that just he's not being allowed into the fight by Thaxton, or is he just rather cautious and negative?
I think really he just hasn't been allowed into the fight. Thaxton's had an answer for anything that Bilius has really tried, and I think Bilius just hasn't had the punch power. And maybe it's done Bilius good not to try and tempt fate too much and pressure Thaxton, because maybe that would have prompted Thaxton to let a few more punches go.
Well, no stoppage win for Thaxton by the look of things here. but it's been almost ridiculously easy for him. Insofar as professional boxing matches can ever be easy, which is hardly ever.
Yes, he's just left out the power punching. Maybe he's damaged the hand. I'm not sure, but certainly it looks as if he's went for the points win, and that is what he's most certainly got.
No question about it. Bilius punches the air. About what, I'm not sure, other than hearing the final bell. There's no doubt at all who's won that. I think we would have all had to recently arrive on a spaceship from Mars to come to any other conclusion about the winner. And one round was rather like another one. Thaxton won it going away. Outboxed his man from beginning to end without ever looking like he would stop him or even floor him.
Yes, I think a good performance, good boxing performance, and let's hope none of the judges have just beamed down from Mars or somewhere, because he should be a very, very big winner, Thaxton.
I think they both come up from London, the two British boys, actually. Roy Francis and Dave Paris. And there's an Italian as well, which is closer to Mars, but not much. And Dean Pell has thrown me a horribly smelling piece of bandage from the corner down onto our desk for a joke. Which I've just tossed back to him. So they're in good spirits in the corner anyway. They know they haven't won. He knows he has, and we only wait the confirmation of the scorecards now. Maybe he did share a round. Maybe he didn't. Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 hot rounds of boxing, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Roy Francis scores the contest of 120 to 110. Judge Dave Paris scores the contest 119 to 109. Judge Lucan Monteau scores the contest 119 to 109. All three in favour of the winner, and still
Two of the judges had it by 11 rounds to 1. The third, Roy Francis, 10 rounds to none with 2 even. Yes, it was that emphatic. He holds on to his championship and adds the IBF belt as well. A 2-time Intercontinental light welterweight champion. Junior World Championship belts, those of no lasting significance really, if we're honest with you, but he might be on the way to a World Championship opportunity.
Have named Jon Thaxton as their fighter of the year.
It's becoming a habit for Thaxton to wow the money's home town appearances here in Norwich, and yet again the fans are beginning to drift away, having been impressed by their home hero, and the judges in absolutely no doubt about this. But Barry, who's watching alongside me, Barry McGuigan, it's going to go into the record books as a vastly convincing win.
Yeah, it wasn't a
Were you convinced?
No, it wasn't a testing fight for Jonathan. I'd hoped that the Bilius would maybe try a little bit harder. He got hurt early on and he just went into his shell, and he thought, well, the old self-preservation came into fore, and he wasn't going to try anything too ambitious. And so therefore it made it quite a boring fight. But Thaxton won't have been tested that much. I know himself he'd be happy, but he really would. Well, I would like to have seen him tested, by somebody who would throw more punches at him.
Sure. Nonetheless, there were a lot of pluses, weren't there, from the performance, which we'll go on to analyse in a few minutes' time. I think Ian Dark's going to speak to John first.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Paul. Well, John, congratulations, another victory. We've seen Jon Thaxton, the puncher, many times before. Tonight we saw Jon Thaxton, the boxer, really, didn't we?
That's right. You know, everyone knew I can punch, everyone knew I can fight, but nobody knew I could box, and tonight I proved that. I hit him in the first round. I think I damaged my right hand or whatever, and I thought, this guy's got a good chin, it was a good shot. Usually it'd take him out, but it didn't take this guy out, and I thought, well, I'm going to box him. Halfway through I hurt my left hand, but no problem, you know. I thought, I'll just box, and I kept boxing, kept winning the rounds. In my eyes, I didn't win a round, I boxed brilliant. Some of the things we're doing in the gym were just coming off naturally without even thinking about it. I'm very pleased, you know, like, I'm sorry it wasn't much of a, you know, a fight what everyone expects, but like I say, seen a different side of Jon Thaxton tonight. Jon Thaxton, the boxer.
So that was a deliberate decision, was it? Norwich fans seem happy enough with your performance anyway, but that was a deliberate decision, was it, to actually box him? You decided early on you couldn't knock him out, or was it the injuries that stopped you from going for the knockout?
I got, you know, it was a bit of both, but, you know, I'm glad I'd done the 12 rounds. Now I proved to everyone I can do 12 rounds easy, you know, I'm not even breathing heavy. Done 12 rounds, it plays, my combination's coming off beautiful. Now I want Parisi. I'm #1 contender for the world title. I want Parisi, and I want him in Norwich.
Yes!
This is the WBO champion of the world at this weight, Giovanni Parisi of Italy. How likely do you think that fight is to happen, and how soon?
Ask Frank Warren, you know, Frank Warren's the man with all the aces in his hand, you know, but I'm sure that Frank Warren can bring Giovanni Parisi, the WBO world champion, to Norwich, and I'm sure the Norwich crowd will come out and cheer me to victory, because I will be world champion next year.
Because there's a date here when Herbie Hyde's in action on January the 17th. It wouldn't be then, though, would it? There'd be another fight for you then, presumably.
Who knows? Why not? You know, I'm #1 contender or #2 contender. Let's get it on. You know, I'm ready. I'm only 23. I'm still learning. I'm listening, learning, and delivering in style. Listening to Brendan, learning from Brendan, and like today, I delivered well.
How bad are the injuries, by the way? You mentioned you hurt both hands.
You know, no worries.
They're not broken.
Who knows? You know, I don't know. Wait till the gloves come off.
He's improved an awful lot, Brendan Ingle. He's really sort of shot through in the last couple of years. How much do you think he's improved, and why?
His timing and distance, but most of all his dedication and his patience. He's got plenty of patience, and he's going to come here. Frank Warren's putting Herbie Hyde here in January for the world title. Why not have two Norwich fighters, both of them boxing for the world title in Norwich? That's what's got to happen. It's happened. Frank Warren delivered in Sheffield, 10 title fights in Sheffield, 2 world title fights in Norwich, Jon Thaxton in one corner, Parisi in the other, Herbie Hyde in the other corner for the other world title. Frank will deliver. It's going to happen. He's had good 12 rounds tonight. He boxed. I heard you commentating on the Liverpool kid, what do you call him, Andy Holligan? And he gave Andy Holligan all the trouble he wanted. He won every round. He gave him a boxing lessons. Jon Thaxton's the man on the block, and is going to be world champion this year. Next year.
Well done to both of you tonight. Let's hope that world title opportunity happens soon.